sa
Sige,
gitna.
besh.
Ano magaganyan tayo? Sige na. 13, di ba?
Yung next. Yan pang ano, pang content. Ayan, at least may lalagay na ako. Things to do.
It's one of the best preserved 19th century parks in Sweden today. They have trees and flowers and cafes and restaurants, but also greenhouses. You can see one of the greenhouses through the tree line here. And those of you with a sharp eye see that, oh, of course, it's meant to look like the Paxton Crystal Palace from the London's World Fair. Of course. That's one way in which it is British inspired. The Garden Association is open every day of the week, and you don't have to pay to enter.
Libre lang pala yun.
The brown wooden building up ahead was part of the Garden Association. It was a seed market. It bought and sold seeds from all over the world. The largest seed market in Sweden. Nowadays, though, it is the Alfie Atkins Culture House. Alfie Atkins is a Swedish children's book character, very famous. I think it's been translated to some languages. Willy Viberg. Gothenburg was one of the first cities in Europe to install trams. In the early 19th century, but originally they were drawn by horses. 4 horses per tram car. Today, Gothenburg is one of only 3 cities in Sweden that still have tram networks.
Ay, ganun. 1 out of 3.
Ahead, there's a stretch of canal with a lot of low bridges and beams. You might have to duck a little, especially if you sit on the side of the boat under some of the arched bridges. This stretch of canal goes by the park called Brunns Park. Same problem that a lot of European cities had. It's burnt down a few times. So the current German church is from the mid-18th century, but they still have sermons in German. Up ahead there's a big block of a building. That is the old warehouse and headquarters of the Swedish East India Trading Company. A company founded to trade in particular. The last building on the road on our left-hand side, yellow building, red windows, flag on the roof. That is the Residency, built in 1654. The oldest residential house in Gothenburg. That's where the governor of Västra Götalands län reside. The building is also called the King's House, because when the royal family visit Gothenburg, that's where they stay. But when anyone from the royal family is... On our right-hand side, you can see one of the canal boats, Juno. It was built in 1864. It's one of the oldest canal boats still running. Behind Juno, there's a yellow brick building. That was a customs house in the past. That's where people got their travel documents before they emigrated to America. Between 1860 and 1920, during the Great Migration from Sweden, 1.3 million Swedes emigrated across the Atlantic Ocean to the United States and Canada. That was almost a quarter of Sweden's population at the time that left the country. Up ahead, we have the Maritime Museum, one of the world's largest floating museums, if you count by number of ships. The big boat on the edge is Småland. It's a destroyer built here in Gothenburg in 1952.
Floating museum. Largest floating museum.
Now she might look dangerous, menacing, armed to the teeth, but in 2001 there was a big international meeting here in Gothenburg, and George W. Bush was going to be here. So the United States demanded that we swap out the missiles on Småland to fake missiles made of plastic. Just in case. Better safe than sorry and all that. So we don't get any funny ideas. If you look up ahead, you can see a red and white tower in the distance. And no, it is not the Austrian embassy. It is the lipstick. The lipstick was built in 1989
The lipstick.
with the ambition to become a landmark rivaling the Eiffel Tower in Paris. And it has become very, very, very famous. No less than the section of it.
The lipstick.
Some of Strömman's larger ships lie here. They go out on longer tours. But the big boat on the edge is sadly not one of ours. This is the Bark Viking. Viking was built in 1906 in Copenhagen, Denmark. It was originally a school ship used to educate new sailors. In total, she's gone several times around the world, to Australia and back among other places. But in the 1950s, she was due to be scrapped, lay in Rotterdam in very poor condition. Until Gothenburg bought the Viking, brought her here and fixed her up. Nowadays, it's a restaurant and event boat.
Ah, restaurant na siya.
Viking was actually renovated again just 2 years ago.
Restaurant na siya.
Got a new coat of paint and some new rigging. However, headquarters of theirs just in time for digital cameras to be invented. So they almost went bankrupt and had to sell it. Not bad because you get a number of cranes. Gothenburg is one of the ship buildings.
English eh. Kumawi siya sa akin. That! The zipper.
How you can feel it's got a bit cold in the winter. Stand outside selling fish. And in the summer, very warm and smelly. Very
Fish church. Mukha
rare.
siyang church, pero tindahan talaga siya ng mga fish. Mukha talaga siyang church yun.
On the other side of the boat, there's a neighborhood called Hog. Yeah. Right now there's a construction. Very
Fish church. Mukha
rare.
siyang church, pero tindahan talaga siya ng mga fish. Mukha talaga siyang church yun.
On the other side of the boat, there's a neighborhood called Hog. Yeah. Right now there's a construction. But after the oil crisis in the 1970s, we had a subsequent shift.